Hi, my name is David Stewart, along with my co-host
Mila Jane.
And to the studio today, we have the esteemed pleasure of interviewing Rob Cannon, creator of Sane 6, which is a character-based crime drama. Rob Cannon, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here.
How's it going, guys?
Hey.
So just give like a brief, detailed synopsis of what Sane 6 actually is.
Well, it's about a large group of criminal contractors in a sort of near future, kind of like a modern Wild West kind of thing, where there's sort of a breakdown of government control and everything, and these people are on one job, and things start going wrong really quickly, and it's sort of about what happens to them and at the end of the whole thing.
So can you tell us a little bit about how this world came to be, if it's only
Sure.
just a little ahead?
Right. It's just a general government corruption. It just gets really bad. Police start losing power, and organized crime starts getting really powerful. And it's sort of about the setting is sort of a character itself, or it's kind of this the county. It's called Cosa. It's sort of in the south, and it's just a city kind of in the desert, and it's sort of the nexus of all this crazy stuff happening. So that's where it starts out. And
Nice.
It sort of branches out from there.
How interesting. And you're the creator, author, and illustrator.
Yes.
So you're kind of like a one-man band right now.
Sure. Yeah. You
That's
could say
awesome.
that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
How did you get into comic book creation?
So that was something that started when I was in high school. I've always been interested in storytelling and making up characters and all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to do film at first. I was really drawn to the medium, using music and imagery to tell a story. And I kind of got disillusioned by the amount of limitations that you get when you're working with film. So I just thought, I've been drawing for my whole life. I'm getting pretty good at this. I might as well try my hand at graphic novel storytelling. And I've been doing it for 7 years, and finally something's starting to break. So
Nice.
and I've really enjoyed just building characters and learning how to do different types of storytelling.
How cool.
So you created the story before you actually did the illustrations for Sane 6?
Yeah. You have to write everything first. It's kind of like the production of a film, where you do all the planning and everything, and then the execution is what comes after everything's ready.
So what's next in the process right now?
I'm almost done with the artwork. Then next comes lettering and just touch-ups and formatting it for a book, and off it goes. I mean, this thing's going to be produced and finished in 1 week, I think. Wow. By the end of the week. So I'm finishing the last page of artwork on Thursday, day after tomorrow.
So is this your full-time job?
No,
No.
I definitely have day
Oh,
jobs
so you
on top of
moonlight
this.
as a comic book creator.
Right, yeah.
So what do you do for your non-moonlighting?
Oh, I drive a bus. I'm a Lyft driver, and
Nice.
and I work for a local metro cable.
So being a
Channel
Lyft
14.
driver, do you, based on the drivers that you pick up and drive around town, do you use some of the experiences from there to get inspiration for your work?
I definitely have taken some experiences that I've had and like just add character quirks and stuff, because you become a great character writer when you watch actual people. That's a lot more effective than just trying to make something up. When you see stuff that could go on TV just happening on the street in front of your eyes, it's way more effective to just take that source material, and put it into your work. It makes it pretty interesting.
Do you have like a crazy character, like a crazy story you could tell us?
Not really. And everyone always asks me when I pick them up, a passenger. They go, "Oh man, what's your craziest story?"
You could totally like make something up and we would never know.
No, I don't know.
What could we expect from the comic in terms of like rating? Like, is it for all audiences or?
If I had to, I would give it like a soft R or like a 16 and up type of thing. There
Okay.
is language, graphic imagery, but it's not gratuitous. It will always serve the storyline or the tone or something, so.
Awesome. Now, if you're a one-man band right now, are you looking to expand in terms of a crew, a team?
I mean, that'd be nice. This story itself is not terribly laborious to produce. It's I can get a page done every 2 days after I have all the writing finished, and it leaves me enough time on top of that to manage the publishing company and co-manage and do all my day job stuff. So.
How difficult is it when you have the story already written out? Is it more difficult, or is it easier to try and create the artwork that illustrates what you have written down?
It's easier, definitely. The more planning you do, to a point. There's a point where I kind of like to free form it, and it sort of gives it more organic feel. I don't want to say more realistic, but definitely less manufactured.
Right. How's the reception been to this comic that you've created, Saint Six? Has the reception for it been overly overwhelming, or has it been more subdued?
I mean,
Like,
we have
are there throngs of people, clamoring, saying we want this?
It's hard to tell because it's all online. I hear a lot of people on Facebook saying, "Oh man, this looks awesome." I get some negative reviews here and there also at the same time. So you got to kind of aggregate all that, and I'd say on an average, I'd say that it's positive so far. It's hard to say that it's overwhelming, but the book hasn't been released yet, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Absolutely. So what's your following like?
My following, it's mainly the publishing company that we have, Rats and Crows Publishing. Me and my business partner Kevin Parent, who's based in Quebec, Canada.
Oh.
So that's been really interesting. And
How did you two meet?
I actually submitted the pilot of Saint Six to a compilation called Octal, put together by a guy named Mike Schneider with Neoflux Productions, which is a really cool thing. And he picked that up, one of the volumes of that anthology, and he liked Saint Six and got in touch with me, and we ended up putting this publishing company together. So
That's really
going really
cool.
well.
Do you have have you started like a Kickstarter or?
Right. We did a Kickstarter for Saint Six Issue 1 Catalyst. That's the title.
Okay.
And that was successful. And we're doing one right now for a Polish artist named Lucas Kowalczuk. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Sorry, Lucas. And that actually, I got a note right before we started the interview. Successfully funded, $1,000. So
Congratulations. So do you have a projected release date for when Saint Six is supposed to actually hit the streets?
Saint Six Issue 1 is going to be releasing in June.
So in time for summer.
Right, yeah, right in time for summer. And Wreckage, which was the pilot, just a little 8-page thing, is going to be available on May 4th, I believe. We can check out our website, ratsandcrowspublishing.com, or our Facebook page, Rats and Crows, or Rats and Crows Publishing. And yeah, you'll be able to find all the information you need there.
You have plans of having the Saint Six be available online as a PDF?
Yes. Yeah,
in addition to having the hard copy?
For every book that we do, we release both a print version and a web version.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll be able to actually, if you want to, you could go get Wreckage on May 4th online, have it in your little hands by when it releases.
All right. Well, we're almost about out of time for the interview. So if you can give us like a brief information that people can get in touch with you if they want to support Saint Six or your publishing company.
Sure.
So website, phone number, Facebook, email.
Yeah, if you're interested, and we're looking for artists for our publishing company, Rats and Crows Publishing, check us out on Facebook. The website is ratsandcrowspublishing.com. And if you have work that you'd like to submit, or if you'd like to apply for being an artist or anything, we're always looking for talent. Submit an email and your material to contact@ratsandcrows.com, and that's all you need to do.
All right. Well,
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
today.
having me,
Thank
guys.
you.
It's been
and
fun.
we look forward to seeing Saint Six when it hits. And again, congratulations on reaching your Kickstarter goal.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that concludes the interview with Rob Cannon. Coming up, we are going to be looking at a video on how to make comic book flowers. So stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Jessica Potter, like Harry Potter, and today I am going to be making some paper flowers. I like to use old books and comic books to give it that geeky flair. This is a really, really basic project, and so all you need is paper and scissors. I'm going to cheat a little bit and use these floral arrangements that are so beautiful. You can see they're from the dollar store holiday clearance section. And so I'm actually going to use these as the pattern as well as part of the finished product. So what you want to do with these, there's all kinds of tutorials online and like patterns you can download, but I found the easiest thing to do is just buy some cheap flowers. They're cheaper than a download, honestly. And you are going to use these as your pattern. So you can choose any page you like. I only use already damaged, already thrown out comic books. Don't worry, I would never tear up a brand new comic book. So I have some Walking Dead, Batman, My Little Pony. I like Walking Dead. So all you're gonna do is trace the flower. And this does not have to be perfect because no flower is actually perfect. So as you can see, I'm not doing a fantastic job tracing this because I'm going to cut it out, and it doesn't really matter. Because the point of this project is it's quick, it's cheap, it's easy, and it should be fun, not stressful. So I have my large petals traced, and I lost my small ones. Again, it does not have to be perfect. You just want to get the general shape. Now you cut it out. It's really helpful to have really fun scissors. It makes the whole process go a lot better. So now that you have your 2 petal patterns cut out, you can just take anything. I have a paintbrush here. You can use a pencil, you can use a Q-tip, you can use really anything. It just needs to be a small dowel because now we're going to roll each petal down. So you're going to want them all to curl like this. Sometimes I have to do them a few times. And then we'll do the next one.
Like bonus points if you know who that is.
That's one of the reasons I love using the Walking Dead comics for things. I make buttons and magnets and bookmarks and all kinds of fun stuff. And The Walking Dead is great because it's so subtle, you know, it's not really colorful, it's not super iconic like Batman or something, but people that get it, and it's so fun to see their faces light up like, oh! And bonus points if you get to use dirty words. And this is where these come in really handy because you can do this with like floral wire and floral tape, and you can get really fancy with it. You can add glitter, you can add ribbon, but if you start with a base like this, you don't have to do much. You just have your stem already. And if you've ever played with big flowers before, all the little pieces come off, the leaves and stems and everything come apart. So you can just take your leaves now, your petals. You're gonna poke a little hole, you know, safety first, just to feed the stem through. And then I'm just going to use one of these, again, it's just from the flower itself, and stick it right on there to hold it in place. And you can push the leaves up. And you have a cute little comic book flower. You can add more layers, you can add more colors. For the Walking Dead ones, I would drizzle a little like red paint on it to look like a blood splatter because I'm gross and I love that. And so you can make a full bouquet, you can take it off and put it in your hair. You can do so much with these. And they're really fun and really easy. So that's it.
Welcome back to Jocks, Geeks, and Nerds. Now, before I introduce our next guest, I'd like to show the craft that we had made. If you would like to learn how to make the craft for yourself, you can visit our website at www.jocksgeeksandnerds.com, where we have a video tutorial to show you exactly how to make one of these lovely flowers. Now, to introduce our next guest, we have a group of talented local artists who are not only performers here locally, but they perform their slam poetry internationally throughout the world. Please welcome joining our new guests. We have Slam Master Jenny, and we're joined by Slam Poets Shonuff and Yes.
Welcome to the show,
Hi.
Nice to be here.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're all kind of curious, what exactly is slam poetry?
Performance poetry. It's when you, anytime you are doing poetry with the thought of performing it in front of people. So it's just
There's a few basic rules. The poem should be under 3 minutes, no props, and it needs to be original.
3 minutes and 10 seconds if you want to break the rules.
Have you guys done 3 minutes and 10-second poems?
Well, there's this thing about, there's a penalty, so you can actually know you're going to go over 3 minutes as long as you know you're going to do it within
You get a
that time.
10-second leeway, basically.
You better watch out. We got a badass over here. you better watch out.
Rules? What rules?
So how did you guys get into poetry? Get into this slam poetry thing?
For Sacramento, so I was like, yeah.
I actually
Okay.
was hiding, you know. I didn't write poetry. I, you know, pretended to be a rapper all the time and kept all my poems in like a book. You know, basketball and football players aren't supposed to write poems. So it wasn't until I got into college and actually went into like a professor and it was like ethnic theater. I was like, what's ethnic theater? And they were like, well, do you write poems? I was like, secretly. And then that's how it all started for me.
So is this more like social justice type poems or if fun stuff or?
I mean, I find often in slam they do tend to cover social justice topics just because you have that big stage and why not say something that's
Sure.
important to the communities that you come from. But it can also be fun. Like we've got a piece, me and Brandon Leak, who couldn't be here, have a piece about Goku versus Superman, that nerd fight. Always arguing over who's
Yes.
winning the fight.
Yes,
Yeah.
I kind of coaxed them a little bit. You know, I kind of pushed it a little bit on them, like, hey, you know, you guys should write about that. You guys should really have a battle. And you know, we took like a whole practice one day just to talk about the, you know, Goku versus Superman.
Did a research.
And as the coach, I wasn't into that.
So Jenny, how did you get into slam poetry?
Through friends. Everybody's a poet, it seems like, in our small community. And so I wanted to join a larger scale poetry community through Poetry Slam Incorporated, and that's our umbrella nonprofit that gives us the opportunity to travel the country. So I just got back from New York. One of our teammates from last season, he just got back from Washington, D.C. The team this season will go to Atlanta, Decatur specifically, so 6 poets will go.
We have
It's pretty cool.
We have a video.
Okay. Well, we have a video of actually slam poetry showing up, and we get to see. I believe it's Brandon Leak who couldn't be here. That's in the video, and shown up. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
How this judging thing works, you will get scores from 1 to 10. Throw some decimals in there. We don't want any ties. Make these people feel good about themselves. 1 is the worst poem you have ever heard in your entire life. You wish you didn't come tonight. This is the finals. You won't feel any bad way about any of these poets, I promise you. So, everybody, make some noise for the founder.
Assimilation and miseducation is taking place on our streets and doorsteps, yet we're constantly told to give to another country. I remember being told to give right to a child in Ethiopia because, quote, these kids need praise. Well, as this experience spans the coast and takes control over every station, this miseducation gets reprinted into novels, history, and school books. But we were never told to look next door, as baby Keisha's mom can afford milk from the local store.
Poolside, or should I say, Bulls side. Because here at 6 and Nightingale, we believe in options. And I know what you may be wondering. Why are these pools this color? Astute observation, my friend. You see, here at 6 and Nightingale, we firmly believe in providing our residents with only the finest of inebriations. So go ahead, take your pick. Vodka, gin, malt liquor, tonic, whatever your heart desires to escape, we'll provide it for you.
So that's awesome. So that was here in town. But I also heard that you guys have performed internationally as well. Is there anything you could tell me about that?
Yeah, during the slam season last year, I was on the team in 2015. The team's different for 2016.
Yes,
a little bit,
absolutely,
Yeah, a little bit, but awesome poets. I love them all. But during the slam season, I got the opportunity with Isaac Torres and Graffiti Blue to go out to Salerno, Italy for 100,000 Poets for Change. And we had poets from every continent. I believe it was 36 countries and 72 cities all came around to just represent and come together. Yeah.
What was that like to see that many poets from that many places around the world, getting together in Italy. What was that like? What was the feeling?
Surreal.
The first thing that we had right off the bat, because we had roundtables where we discuss issues in poetry, social issues.
Okay.
And we have
So
people
the poetry version of the Knights of the Round Table.
Exactly, yeah. And the first thing that happened right off the bat is we had all these different cultures that were clashing and different values that were clashing.
Oh,
And they
really?
it wasn't negative in any way. We actually
Sure.
settled it down and were able to really discuss like the finer aspects of feminist poetry and social activist poetry and how to spread a social movement.
Yeah.
So so yeah, we gathered. It was a whole week of us just being able to talk. At one point, we kind of introduced the idea of slam poetry out there. We had a couple other slam artists from different countries, which I didn't know. Like Malaysia has some slam poetry representation out there, but we got to do it in the streets, and so we brought it to the streets, and our poems were in English. Like I remember Isaac had his poem that he was doing, and he's a really intense performer.
Yeah.
And there were people opening their windows and poking out into the streets below and going like, in Italiano, like, desperate to hear it in their language because they loved his presentation so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
So earlier we were kind of teasing y'all that our guests have a poem called Superman versus Goku.
Yes.
And the camera, you know that we can get into a debate about this because, you know, I don't like my Superman, I'm a Goku fan. So I am quite interested in hearing this poem that And Yes will be performing.
Shonuf's going to be filling in for Brandon Leak.
Yeah, I'll be filling in for my teammate. Brandon.
Don't let me down!
Absolutely. I guess we should pull these out on our phones. And
it's been a little bit since we've done it, since I've done it. He didn't have to do it.
I never.
I love how modern you are. Like, who needs paper?
Who needs paper?
Well, you know, it's
a white background. Like,
yeah.
It's just like paper.
It has black words on it.
Yeah. All right. Ready?
Almost. Yes, I'm ready.
For this.
Oh, no, we need you to like interpretive dance.
Head shakes.
All right, so whenever you guys are ready.
Here we go. And ready?
Yeah.
All right. We interrupt your socially conscious activism to ask this relevant nerd question.
Tonight, we are intent on having this debate for the last time. Goku versus Superman. Who wins in a fight? The answer to this question is obvious. I'm glad you understand that.
Of course, the only logical answer is
Goku.
Superman. What? How can you say that? Okay, Superman is fit with hurricane breath and eye lasers, the strength to lift entire continents, and super speed that's fast enough to make reality go back in time. Goku's just a gi-wearing goofy thug, generating energy blasts with his life force. Man, Superman is empowered by the yellow sun, impenetrable. Besides, what can Goku do that Darkseid hasn't gotten shut down for trying to do?
What do you mean? Yes, granted Superman can do all of those things, but we know who the real boss is here. Goku has literally saved galaxies, mastered multiple forms of martial arts, can literally instantly transport from one dimension to another, and oh yeah, you want to talk about lasers from eyeballs? Man, my man throws sun-sized energy waves right at your face. Closed caskets, no need for further debate.
Closed caskets? You mean no caskets? My man can bench press the weight of this planet for 5 days with no rest. Yes, Goku has kung fu, but Superman's only weakness is magic, and any true fan knows Goku doesn't shoot magic missiles. In short, Goku's a more skilled fighter, yes, but he's rolling D4s against a min-maxed overpowered paladin with freedom-fighting hammer fists of justice so you can keep your flying Nimbus and 30-minute key charge nonsense. Kame! Get that out of here. Superman wins. Doesn't beat Goku to death, just shatters every bone in his body and leaves him to take his own last breath that says, I quit!
Oh, so now you want to talk about Nimbus clouds, huh?
Yeah.
Well, check this. Goku has no need for magic. He has 4 stages of Super Saiyan ready for your leotard, spandex-wearing hero. Superman better watch his back out here, trying to protect the rep a nation like POTUS. Clark Kent better not come out the phone booth, or else Goku will deliver a swift critical blow to your president. Just call him John Wilkes Booth. Need I remind you, Goku kicks butt even after death? So he has literally defied the laws of reality. The one and the only one sharing their last breath is Lois Lane after Chi-Chi get done with her.
Both of these dudes have muscles
coming out of their ears.
Mine carries an entire planet.
But mine carries a galaxy. Both of them saved the Earth. Mine like 100 times.
Mine like like every weekend.
The identity of the crisis identity of Clark Kent.
Oh, the childishness of Goku. Look,
Yeah,
I can't even believe how you.
I don't know. I can't believe this right now on TV and everything. Look, we can't be friends.
What? Oh, okay, hold on. What about Batman?
That's easy.
Batman wins.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
All right, so the poem says that Batman wins, but
I'm about to say, let's be real. Let's be real.
Okay, let's break it down.
Superman versus Goku. Who wins?
Well, this broke down to, I think, as we explained earlier, like Superman and Goku, it's got to be Goku.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wrote that piece for Superman. We were kind of doing it as a practice to get used to writing a two-person poem because neither of us had done it before. So, to tell the truth, dear audience, I'm a fan. Wait. I'm a Goku fan.
Ooh!
I'm sorry.
I love it. I love it.
He knows the truth.
I love it. No one has to die today.
No, we can be friends.
Well, thank you guys for being on the show, and
you.
look forward
Oh, it was a
to
pleasure.
hearing more slam poetry from you guys in the
Third Fridays
future.
at Luna's. Third Fridays at Luna's.
What time?
8 p.m.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, that concludes this episode of Jocks, Geeks, and Nerds. Stay tuned for episode 5, and as always, don't just watch, play with us too.
We interrupt your socially conscious activism to ask this relevant nerd question.
Tonight, we are intent on having this debate for the last time. Goku versus Superman. Who wins in a fight? The answer to this question is obvious. I'm glad you understand that.
Of course, the only logical answer is
Goku.
Superman.
What?
How can you say that? Okay, Superman is fit with hurricane breath and eye lasers, the strength to lift entire continents, and super speed that's fast enough to make reality go back in time. Goku's just a gi-wearing goofy thug, generating energy blasts with his life force. Man, Superman is empowered by the yellow sun.